On the programme this morning, we've also been speaking about the awful case of 18-year-old Nanita, who was failed by the state care system and she eventually took her own life. Now, this is an issue as well, close to the heart for Lemn Sissay, who is the author and broadcaster who joins us now, I should say. We've also got Nick Martin with us as well, who's been leading this story for us. Were you surprised to hear about the details of what happened to Nanita?
I'm always surprised to hear of a child who's died in the care system. Just last week, the Manchester Evening News reported that 7 young people, young care leavers, died within 7 months of 2024. So every time I hear of a child in care dying, it is a surprise and a shock. And it's damning of a system which is built to care for our most vulnerable citizens, and that's children and young people. And she died in winter, just before New Year's and just after Christmas, in that kind of in that period where she felt most alone, when most of us feel most together with our families.
You see, it's so interesting you pick up on the timing of her death. It's something that I, to be honest, didn't even think about. But I guess for people who've been in care, who think about Christmas, who know how hard Christmas is, you have that perspective that perhaps the rest of us don't.
I mean, imagine being 18 years of age and then being told you're never going to see your family, the rest of your family, ever again. They're not going to be in touch with you. You're not their responsibility anymore. That's what happens to this child in care. All memory of what happened, who she was in contact with, people that she cared for and cared for her previously, was lost. They were not to be in touch with her.
Nick, can you just take it back a step for us and flesh out Nanita's case? Because for those that haven't watched your full film yet, and they should, or weren't with us last hour, it is really a catalogue of horrors, her personal case.
Wilf, I've been telling stories for more than 30 years, and this is the saddest story I have ever told. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong with Nanita. And over the last few years, I've been on this programme talking about children who are missing education, who aren't getting enough mental health support. And really everything is in Nanita's story, sadly. I actually couldn't believe the detail of Nanita's story when we started researching it. But here was a girl who foretold her own death. She told doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, care workers, independent visitors, how, when and where she was going to take her own life. And yet she was sent to live 100 or so metres away from a high-speed railway line. I did not believe that detail. I thought that cannot be true, and it was. And the corporate parent in this case, Barnet Council, were taking very extreme steps to keep this story from the public eye, enlisting barristers to fight a campaign by campaigners to get access to Nanita's inquest and therefore unlock the case file. And when they were successful, a legal first, and the case file was made available, it unlocked absolutely a shocking story, and Nanita is not alone.
And Lem, you have particular experience of this, and obviously grew up in care yourself. When you hear stories like this, are you looking at it thinking that it's getting worse? Or is this an ever-present problem that for generations we've failed to solve? What's your reflection?
No child in care today is going to compare their experience to what happened before. So whether it's worse or better won't matter to Nanita. It won't matter to Nanita because she's not here. What this is, I mean, aside from the subject, I've got to say this is a great piece of journalism, and journalism is right at the moment is at the, it's a big subject in England at the moment because of the resignation of the director of the BBC. This is what journalism is about. This is what it should be doing, investigating for the least looked after people who die. Yeah. I'm I'm pleased that this documentary has happened. Things are not better now than they were before because you're presenting me on the breakfast show with a person who's died who's in care. How can things be better if that's the case?
I also think, Lem, that you would agree that we have to look forward to how the system can be improved. And at the moment, there are campaigns out there that want to fundamentally change how the care system operates and how they view young people. So many campaigners want the law to be changed so that care experience becomes a protected characteristic like disability or ethnicity.
Yeah.
And that would change the whole structure of the care system.
A whole load of things.
So every decision that is made with care experience in mind, from the design of a school to the CV writing for a child.
Can I, if I may, talk a bit about your own experience? Because look, you've had an extraordinary career, right? You've been a huge success. You were the official poet at the London 2012 Olympics. You were Chancellor at the University of Manchester. It's extraordinary. Yeah. But you also grew up in care.
Yeah, 18 years I was in care for.
And it was only after you turned 18 that you learned that your mum had been effectively kind of forced to hand you over. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I proved this, that my mother, I had my name changed and my mother wanted me back and she couldn't get me back, etc. And then I was held in a series of children's homes and etc. It was not a good experience. I've got to say that it is better now than it was before. It is. Yeah. And there are a lot of dedicated and committed social workers out there.
It's okay to say that as well, by the way. We're saying that things are not okay now, so we can acknowledge that. And you also, your experience obviously is.
Well, look, success to me is not being able to not being Chancellor of the university. Success to me is not any of the things that I've become, but it's whether I can look in the mirror and know that I'm okay in the morning.
Can you do that?
I can, yeah.
Well done.
It's been a lot of work, and it's a daily process for all of us, right? Yeah. And the success is whether I can empathise with others rather than simply be consumed by what happened to me.
Well, I know it's hard to express, and I don't want to put you on the spot in any way, obviously. But what was it like, growing up in those homes without your mum?
No, without my mum, dad, without brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, granddads, without Christmases, without holidays with parents, without being held in the mind of a group of people as a memory, without having a group of people to be angry towards who would... because you can be angry towards your family.
Yeah,
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I was not held in mind by anybody. And at 18 years of age, when I left care, I, like Nonita, was afraid of the nothingness that was ahead of me, and of the fact that anybody who knew me before had no relationship with me. I was on my own, and for the rest of my life, and that was scary. I am lucky.
Yeah.
Can I ask one final question, Lem, to you first, maybe Nick, to wrap it up? But you said you can now feel okay about this. What will it take for all children that go through the care system to reach your outcome? Is that...
That's a really good question.
Is that an unthinkable goal?
No, we have to ask impossible questions to get great answers. And the question is how do you care for a child who's in your care? It's very simple. And we need to ask that of every area that the child goes into. Education, if the child is in care and the government is the parent, we need to judge our government above all on how it is as a parent. That means that this case of Nonita should be central to our government's health.
Nick, thank you for all the work you've done on it, and I know we're going to be talking to you again later in the programme and perhaps specifically on the things that we can do to try and make improvements, and also genuinely thank you so much for coming on and being the voice of the voiceless as well, so we appreciate it.
It's an honour, thank you.